Okay, so this video is about basics of ZBrush. So when you open ZBrush, you will get, this is the interface what you will get. So this is the light box. From here you can select your previous projects or the default projects that ZBrush has given. So first we'll see what is this viewport. So this viewport is a 2D viewport. Here you can't do any sculpting and all. So if you want to do sculpting, there are two ways. Either you can go to this light box and you can choose this dynamic sphere, or you can go over here, simple brush tool. So just click on that, select sphere 3D, then just drag. Okay, click and drag. So now you can't do sculpting over here. If you click, you can add, click and drag again, you can add more spheres, but now we want to do sculpting in this. So we'll go to the edit mode. Okay, so in the edit mode still you can't do the sculpting. When you click on this sphere, you can see this dialog box. So what you have to do, you have to make this sphere as make polymesh 3D. Click on this and now this is ready to sculpt. Okay, so first I will talk about the shortcuts and what all the brushes that are used the most in ZBrush. So if you're using a mouse, you have to press Alt and right click to move. Okay, and if you are using a tablet, the same thing, Alt and your pen to move, and just press Alt and pen. As you can see here, this cursor is changing to a plus icon. So when this will happen, you have to leave Alt and just drag inwards or outwards to zoom in and zoom out. Okay, and if you want to rotate the model, just without pressing anything, just click and drag. Or if you want to rotate in a particular direction, particular degree, then just do it like this. So nothing much is happening over here because this is a sphere. Okay, so just first you have to set the floor and the perspective. So now you will talk about the brushes. So if you hit B on your keyboard, this dialog box will open. So these are all the brushes you have in ZBrush. Okay, so first brush, I will talk about 4 to 5 brushes that we artists use the most, ZBrush artists use the most. Is like first we'll go to B, C, and then B. This is clay buildup. So clay buildup will add clay to your model. Okay, so this is what it will do. It will add more clay to your model. So next we have B, C, L. So this is just a clay. There is not much difference between clay buildup or clay. Just when you click to the clay buildup, when you select the clay buildup, you will get one alpha over here. So if you want to remove that, just click over here and do alpha off. So clay buildup will add more amount of clay to your model or to your mesh, and clay will simply add little amount of clay. Okay, so control Z is to go back, and control shift Z is to come again, come forward. Here this is like redo, undo. Okay, this is like redo, undo things. And if you see over here, you can do redo, undo from here also. Just drag and forward and backwards. Okay, so next is a dam standard. So B, D, S. So dam standard will do is it will dig your clay inside inwards, so it will sculpt inwards. And now if you want to sculpt inwards with clay buildup, so you have to press and hold Alt, and now this will sculpt inwards. Okay, so if you press F on your keyboard, so it will get, if you are like somewhere out and you want to see your model, so just press F, so it will like zoom in the perfect window of ZBrush. And if you want to see the wireframe, just press shift F. so you can see the wireframe. So as now you can see over here, this poly count is very high, but not high enough to sculpt. So that's why we use dynamic sphere from the lightbox, or if you can go to geometry and you can divide. So as you can see, these lines, these curves, these depths are now smoothened. So if I press again, so this will happen. So from here also you can just go sub, you can increase your division levels or decrease, or just you have to do is we can go to dynamesh, and here you have to set the resolution. The more resolution you will keep, the more dynamesh you will get, but the more you will increase, it might crash your ZBrush. So 128 is the default, so we will keep that, or we can go up till 200. Okay, so we will turn on dynamesh from here. So now we can see how these polygons have changed. So dynamesh, if you use dynamesh, you can see triangles are coming over here. So that's why you should not use dynamesh when you're importing your mesh from Maya to ZBrush. Okay, so now shift F. So now you can sculpt. So now we will talk about masking. So if you press Control, you can see this cursor changing to a yellow cursor, and you can see here it comes plus mask. So if you paint over your model or mesh, you can see this black paint is coming. So this is the masking. So now there is one more brush. We will go to BMV. This is the move brush. So if I select this, I can move the mesh. So everything will move except this mask. So if you want to move this particular mask, then you have to click, hold control and click outside. So now you can move your mask. So now if you want to unselect, just press control and drag outside, so you unselect everything. So now we'll go to clay buildup, BCB. So if we add clay over here, but this is very rough, so if you want to smooth this, you have to hold shift. So here you can see this brush type has changed to smooth. So now you can smoothen your mesh. If you want to reduce or increase your intensity, here you can see this is to reduce, this is to increase. Okay, now I will just go back to my normal sphere. I will set this to dynamesh. So now if you want to cut a particular area, you have to hold control and shift together. So now you can see here rectangle select. So if you select one portion, it will hide everything else and only that portion will be visible. So if you want to cut only this portion, so what you have to do, control shift, then you have to click over here in this trim rectangle. So now just control shift and drag. So once again we will see all the brushes, BCB for clay buildup, BMV for move tool, BDS for time standard. Okay, BCB. So Alt to sculpt inwards, without Alt it will sculpt outwards, and it is the opposite in time standard. If you go to time standard, without Alt inwards, Alt outwards. So you can try more brushes over here. Okay, so now if you want to add any other mesh in your viewport, just go to the subtool, then append. Then here you can add one more mesh, one more object. So just you have to press on R or W something. So it is like same as Maya. So now you can move, scale and rotate this mesh which you have added recently. So here you see this is your first mesh and this is the one you added recently. So with this eye icon you can hide or unhide your mesh.